details. I'm excited about this forecast, especially if you're in southern Ontario. I've been craving the sunshine, and yes, we are going to receive plenty of it. Take a look at those icons there. Montreal, Moncton, Ottawa, sunny skies for you. Conditions are a little bit chilly. However, on the back end of this high pressure, we have some rain on the way. We're going to talk about how this rain could potentially create some freezing rain for folks in the prairie provinces as well. Here's a look at the system that's on the way. After this high pressure is all said and done, we have rain that's making a move. You see that blue there? Yeah, that could be some flurry potential too. Now, it's not going to show how cool your temperatures are going to get because your temperatures really aren't getting much cooler. They're actually going to get warmer with this temperature roller coaster we're dealing with. Later in the program, meteorologist Rhythm Reed's going to join us to talk more about this temperature roller coaster. But here's a look at how much rain you could see from Sunday in through Monday. Now, here's a different story throughout portions of the prairie provinces. Here's we're watching some freezing rain here, and then we have some snow surrounding it as well. Now, the freezing rain, that is the bigger story. That's because this is about 2 to 3 hours worth of prolonged freezing rain, which could create some slippery conditions on the roads. So if you're traveling anywhere from Weyburn to Yorkton, anywhere on the Trans-Canada Highway, just be aware because we are having some snow to deal with too. Not too much. You can handle it in Winnipeg, upwards of 10 centimeters for you from Sunday in through Monday. Now, I'm talking about this temperature roller coaster. Check out this. We are just dropping to minus 20 on Tuesday, feeling more like minus 27. But in Toronto, we're bumping up to 5 degrees on your Tuesday, and the next weekend, we'll talk about it next weekend, but you're getting cool again. Now, high pressure in place means sunny skies, but it actually also indicates a broken record. We are breaking records with just how high this pressure is, over 1,000 millibars there, and we've certainly needed the sunshine. It's been it's not even winter yet. It feels like it's been a long winter so far with those conditions, especially if you're in Montreal. I mean, you could potentially see 98 hours of sunlight, but you've only seen 17.6 hours of sunlight. So that vitamin D is well needed, especially if you're across the GTA too. It's been a similar story for you. Plenty of cloud cover in your forecast. Cloud cover is on the way Sunday before this rain starts to kick in. Meanwhile, in Atlantic Canada, those temperatures, what a wild story for you. You broke a record. Happy Valley Goose Bay, 13.7. That's your warmest December temperature ever recorded. We have cooler conditions now for this weekend, I should say, with some snow through Corner Brook we're watching. But for the most part, with that high pressure through southern Ontario and over portions of Atlantic Canada, you are watching some sunny skies, especially on your Sunday. So clear conditions, but here's the snow we're watching for you in that Corner Brook area. We know your forecast is twice as important on the weekends. That's why we got you covered with experts and insight on what matters most. Join me every Saturday and Sunday mornings on the Weather Network. They have to head out on the water in this time of year, in December. Could you imagine that? You'll see the scenes in just a moment, but first, I have a little bit of your forecast highlights here. We are watching high pressure in place for southern Ontario and Atlantic Canada, which means sunny skies. But throughout British Columbia, we're watching gusty winds through the straits, 70 kilometers an hour, which means that could warrant some power outages. Meanwhile, through portions of Saskatchewan, we're watching for some freezing rain. This is 3 hours worth of freezing rain. We're not watching for power outages there, but it mostly could be a slippery drive for anybody who's traveling. Now, this high pressure in place certainly will be a treat if you're looking for any sunshine. Intake all the vitamin D you possibly can before cloud cover starts to move in on Sunday. On the back end of that, we do have some rain and even the possibility for some freezing rain if you're in that Mount Forest or Orangeville area. Just be aware on your Sunday afternoon. On the back end, we could see that rain on your Sunday around 4 p.m. and anywhere through that Waterloo, Fergus, even that Orangeville area could experience a flurry flying. This continues for your Sunday through the overnight and in through Monday too. So Saturday, that's a good day to head out. Meanwhile, throughout the prairies, we're watching this prolonged freezing rain event. This blue here, you could see some snow, just upwards of 10 centimeters possible through Winnipeg. You've certainly experienced more so far this season, so that shouldn't be any back-breaking shoveling for you. But just be aware if you are traveling on the roadways. Here's a look at some of your temperatures. Vancouver, 8 degrees, plenty of rain on the way for you. Alpine regions could see that snow, but here's a look at how much rain we could experience. And the bigger story is those strong wind gusts, especially through the straits. Upwards of 100 kilometers an hour is what we're forecasting from your Saturday in through Sunday. So just be aware power outages are possible. All right, the moment of truth. Here's the story. Plenty of storylines to talk about. We're going to start our weather storyline in British Columbia. We're monitoring strong wind gusts, alpine snow, rain, just a little bit of everything for you there. 8 degrees in Vancouver, 10 in Victoria, 0 in Prince George. Now, here's a look at the rain we could expect through your Sunday, upwards of 30 millimeters locally, but that's not the only place. We're also watching Vancouver Island, plenty of rain for you on the west coast. Tofino, upwards of 75 millimeters. The bigger storyline, though, is these strong wind gusts through the straits. We're watching upwards of 100 kilometers an hour on your Saturday in through Sunday. So just be aware that could warrant some power outages. That's what we're kind of monitoring right now. So stick with us throughout the day as we continue to monitor this. Meanwhile, as we head to the prairies, we're watching for some freezing rain for you, especially if you're through that Weyburn to Yorkton area. It's like a 3 hours long span of freezing rain on the back end. That all blue there moving on through, that's all snow. Now this freezing rain, we're not looking at power outages warranted, but mostly just slippery roads. So just be aware if you are traveling along the Yellowhead, the Trans-Canada Highway, could be very slippery and slick out there. You have about 10 centimeters of snow to fall through Winnipeg, and anywhere further west of that, upwards of 10 centimeters is possible. Your temperatures, though, those are taking quite the nosedive, especially if you're in Saskatoon, minus 20 on Tuesday, feeling more like minus 27. Calgary, similar story, not that cold though, minus 14, feeling more like minus 19. Meanwhile, on the east, high pressure dominating, record-breaking high pressure, which means sunny skies. You see the icon indicating sunshine. That's good news. What's better news is these temperatures. Check out Toronto's forecast on Monday, Tuesday, up to that 5-degree mark, above the freezing mark. Don't get used to it. It's not going to last long because next weekend we drop right back down. Saturday's the day to head out if you want to intake some sunshine. It's a perfect day to go skating, perhaps, if you're in Toronto. I absolutely love skating outside when it's a sunny sky. Sunday we have more cloudy skies, and then we have some rain on the back end. If you're anywhere through that Mount Forest or Orangeville area, you could see some freezing rain, so just be aware the roads could get slippery. You should have snow tires on by now, especially if you're in southern Ontario. We've already seen snow this season, and winter is still long. We still have plenty more left to come. Here's how much rain you could experience. This is through your Sunday night in through Monday, upwards of 20 millimeters or 30 millimeters if you're on western portions of southern Ontario, and the GTA too. You could also get some rain. So just pack an umbrella on your Sunday in through Monday. You broke a record in Atlantic Canada. 13.7 degrees is how warm you got. Conditions are going to start getting cooler. We're watching for some snow, especially if you're in that Corner Brook area. Not a heavy amount of snow, but you can thank high pressure for all of this sunshine throughout the Maritimes for the next couple of days. We have plenty more in your forecast on the way, so stay with us here on Weather AM. All right, meteorologist Rhythm Reed here with us to break down this temperature roller coaster. Rhythm, what's the next 7 days going to look like with this?
Well, when we're talking about this roller coaster, you can really see that from this graphic. The prairies in southern Ontario, some regions still looking above seasonal.
Let's start off in the east, Rhythm. Temperature records were broken in Atlantic Canada. How warm did they get? Is that going to last?
Well, fortunately, it will not last. That was a very interesting type of a setup. So don't necessarily hear that or see that as well. But when we are talking about some of those temperatures, let's take a look into tomorrow, Victoria. Now, because the warm fronts that are moving in are pulling in so much more air.
I'm here for the warm conditions. I love that. It's a different story, though, on the west. Cool conditions on the way.
And they're going to continue to stay as well. We've seen a little bit of a warm up across areas of
Next Saturday already, Rhythm. I'm thinking all the way to Christmas already. We're just 10 days away from Christmas Eve today. Can you give us a little sneak peek of what we can expect on Christmas?
Well, you're asking some very tough questions, Victoria, but I can give you a little bit of a sneak peek. When we
About it, high pressure in place, sunny skies. I'm Victoria Fenn, Alvarado. Here's a look at your temperatures for today. Don't get used to the conditions there in Regina. If you're in the prairie provinces, we're monitoring some cooler conditions on the way. Take a look at that temperature drop on Tuesday in Saskatoon, dropping to -20, but a different story for those in Toronto. We're bumping up in those temperatures, up to 5 degrees and then back down next weekend. We're calling this a temperature roller coaster, which we are talking about throughout the program. Now, high pressure in place. Record-breaking high pressure means sunny skies. Intake all the vitamin D you can if you're in southern Ontario and even Atlantic Canada too. Now we are monitoring some freezing rain in the forecast, stretching from Weyburn all the way to Yorkton. This is about 3 hours long of freezing rain. Slippery conditions are possible, but we're not really watching for power outages. We are watching for power outage potential in portions of British Columbia. We're going to talk about that later in the program too. Intake all that vitamin D while you can. I'm Victoria Fenn, Alvarado, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you here with us on Weather AM. Just around that freezing mark for you in Toronto, but feeling more like -5. We have some light winds gusting from the east, about 19 kilometers an hour, so just some light winds for you there. The rest of the places across the GTA still hovering around that freezing mark or just below. Newmarket, Barrie, you're just below that freezing mark around -3, -4. As we head into your overnight conditions, slightly cooler. However, this is not too cool for this time of year. This isn't going to warrant any frost or anything. Those winds gusting from the east, I mentioned light wind gusts at least for the next couple of days until Monday. That's when we start to see a little bit more of an active pattern. Take a look at your 7-day forecast in Toronto. By Monday, we're bumping up to 7 degrees, which is very above that seasonal mark. However, with the good news of the warm temperatures, you get some not so good news. We do have some rain on the way and even a mix of rain and snow on your Sunday. Now, these warm conditions aren't going to last long. By next weekend, we're going to be talking about more of a cool down. So we have quite the temperature roller coaster. Coming up on the program, we have meteorologist Rhythm Reet during In the Know talking all about this temperature roller coaster across the country, and it is quite interesting, especially because we have this record-breaking high pressure in place. What does that mean? It means no precipitation, at least on Saturday, clear skies, but by Sunday we start to get some cloud cover building, and then on the back end of this, some rain. And it's not just rain we're also watching for some freezing rain, especially if you're in that Mount Forest, Orangeville, Woodstock area. That's where the roads could start to become more slick and slippery. We're not talking about any power outages or, a very large active weather system, but just be aware. You should certainly have winter tires on by now, especially as we head into your Sunday evening. That's where the transition from that freezing rain could potentially turn into more of a wet rain-snow mix. Even some flurries could be seen flying. As for you in the GTHA around that Golden Horseshoe, mostly a rain story for you in your long-range forecast. As we head into Sunday, Monday, that's where we could start to experience about 20 millimeters of rain for the next couple days. Yeah, you can thank high pressure for that. In fact, record-breaking high pressure is what we are forecasting for this weekend. I'm Victoria Fenn, Alvarado, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you here with us on Weather AM. Coming up in the program, meteorologist Rhythm Reet is going to dive into more of what this high pressure means. Forecasted at 1,051 millibars. That just means we're getting plenty of sunny skies on your Saturday and not much precipitation until at least Sunday and Monday. So enjoy your Saturday while you can. Today would be the perfect day to head out on a skate rink and maybe you can look for a Christmas tree or something. Just get outside as much as you can and intake that vitamin D. We're just around that freezing mark though, so you are going to want to bundle up. If you're anywhere north of the GTA like Barrie, also bundle up even more. Hat and mitts, all of the fun winter stuff. Now, we clearly see there's no cloud cover here until at least Sunday. You can thank that high pressure for that. And here's a look at what we could experience on your Sunday afternoon in through Monday. So all the green, that is rain. But see this pink here through that Mount Forest area, throughout that Orangeville area as well? That is freezing rain. That means roads could start getting a little bit slippery. This shouldn't warrant any power outages, but certainly be aware if you are traveling on any roadways. Meanwhile, we could see some flurries flying by your Sunday night. But as for you in the GTHA, that Golden Horseshoe, it's mostly going to be a rain story on your Sunday in through Monday. But with the rain, we have some good news. Your temperature is warming right up. 7 degrees on Monday, that's quite the treat, above seasonal conditions. 4 degrees on Tuesday, so we're still holding on to the heat. But as we head into next weekend or even the end of your work week, that's when we start to cool right down. We're calling this the temperature roller coaster, and we have more details with meteorologist Rhythm Reed coming up on In the Know about how much these temperatures are going to affect us across the country. Quite the temperature roller coaster. Here's a look at how much rain we could see across the GTA. This is from your Sunday in through Monday. Upwards of 20 millimeters is possible, and we do have some light winds gusting just around that teen mark. But then as we head into Monday, when you have that rain, that's when they're going to bump up almost to that 30-kilometer-an-hour mark. All right, so no snow in your forecast right now. However, you may be wondering, are we going to have a white Christmas? Tune in on December 18th because that's when we have your full forecast for what you could expect on your holiday season. We're almost there. We're inching closer and closer to the holidays. But 9 degrees on Monday? Ooh, certainly not winter-like, more summer-like.
Plan your getaways with us.